hello. It is such a joy to be able to talk about all this. I never, ever thought I would be in this position. Um, so it's really cool that I can talk about this. So I'm going to start it with a story because that was my favourite thing to do as a teacher was to read a story to not only hook the kids in to what I was doing or my lessons. But it also just creates such a connection. But it also is a really good way to get concepts across through storytelling. So I'm going to start with a story, and it goes like this. Once upon a time, I sat 11 years ago at my desk on my computer, very stressed, very overwhelmed, very anxious because I had to put in my university preferences to basically know exactly what I wanted to do with my life, which obviously I didn't. So I sat there not knowing what to do because I actually really loved art. I was a really good painter, I was really good at art in high school, and I knew I just wanted to do something like that. I wanted to be a hairdresser for a bit, then it turned into looking at graphic design. Then I wanted to be an interior designer. Then I wanted to just do painting. I wanted to do art and be a florist, which I actually ended up becoming a couple of years ago. So not everything's down the drain. So anyway, but funnily enough, I was always told that any of those jobs don't earn enough, or it's hard to get a job in those industries, or it's just not what society needs. We don't need more artists or any of those things. So that was kind of my dilemma because I knew I really enjoyed it, but I got talked out of it basically. So I sat there kind of going, well, I don't know what else to do then if I can't do those. But then I thought, okay, well, if it's about money and stability, then I had to kind of look at jobs that were seen as stable. And I knew, because my mum's a teacher as well, I knew that teaching would be a good option because I'd get 12 weeks holidays a year and I'd get paid in all that time and I'd only work 8 till 3, as I always get told, that what teachers work. And there'd be, a bit of marking, a couple of meetings, some interviews, but pretty easy gig. So I thought, okay, well, I'll be a teacher then. And I actually thought it as well of, I'll be a teacher so that I can use those 12 weeks at least to do my own art things and creative things. And then I thought as well, I can always do art with the kids as well. So yeah, I made my choice. So then I went to uni. I did 5 years in uni, which nearly killed me, which I'll explain in a minute why. But at uni, it's funny, you sit there and we are just pumped with all this content and information and we're literally lectured to and doing all these assignments and all this, learning about theories of teaching. And if you asked me right now, though, what I remember or what I learnt at uni, I could not tell you. I couldn't tell you what tests I did. I couldn't tell you what assignments I had to do that I spent endless hours on, or oral presentations or essays or group projects. I couldn't tell you anything that I learnt. Nothing at all. Maybe one or two things. But what I can tell you is I learnt the most on a prac. So those 4 weeks per year where you get to go into a classroom or go into an educational setting and spend time with a mentor teacher and you're literally in the deep end practicing and learning how to be a teacher. That's when I learnt the most things, is in those experiences, which I think is the first thing about education that I always have seen needs to shift, is that you don't go to university, not just to be a teacher, but I actually think it could be for any industry, is that you learn from an expert in their field, or you learn through even just like an apprenticeship or a traineeship or any of those things. So I always wished teaching was like that, because I did learn so much on those pracs, but I can't imagine what I would have learned if the whole thing was hands-on like that. So that was then. I barely made it out of uni because I was that burnt out and I was that stressed and anxious and overwhelmed and actually still quite lost. They didn't prepare us for the actual teaching. I felt like I knew nothing apart from the little things you learn on prac, and you kind of get your feet, but I wasn't ready, so already well done. But then the irony is I got a job and then I'm in the same system and now I'm the one doing it to the kids, because we then put the pressure on them and we spew out all this information and content and concepts to them, expecting them to hold it all in their little buckets and in their little sponges and then be able to recite it and to perform for tests and all of those things. So it's just that funny circle of life kind of thing that, you know, I really struggled in the system, being a student, to then go into uni, to have it done to